I just want to be clear that people move toward NFTs, cryptocurrency. And I'm not saying, mind you, I'm not saying I don't own any cryptocurrency. I'm not saying that I wasn't familiar with it long time ago. I'm not saying I haven't bought and sold many coins, good coins, strong coins, altcoins. I'm not saying I haven't went in and out and made profit. What I am saying is that the average person is not getting bleeding edge information. They're not sophisticated enough, and they're doing that because they think they're going to make a quick dollar. And they're not on the ambition side, they're on the greed side. As I said, greed is blind, greed is emotional, greed doesn't want to work. So the reason I brought up the Bernie Madoff thing earlier, because I think it's a fascinating exposition of human nature, which is to say that you have a guy who basically did the same thing the Theranos girl did, right? And their demographic is important, right? Bernie Madoff was a Jewish guy. The Theranos, what's it called? No, Theranos, right? Yeah. The Theranos girl was a blonde, blue-eyed chick. And their demographics were important to allow them to pull off the scam that they pulled off. Certain demographic of person, certain appearance, you couldn't pull off the scam, not at that level. But the point is this, in both cases, there were red flags all over the place. Anyone who was ambitious and utilizing their education, or shall we say good information, which was accessible, or their rationality, would know that you cannot guarantee returns in the stock market. And no one is always running a portfolio that is constantly having returns, especially not returns that are outperforming the market by 15%. It just doesn't happen. But the blind greed and emotional nature of the human being seeking to draw on a profit without effort, seeking to find fruit without planting a seed, that nature is ever present since biblical times all the way to today. And your greatest thing you could do is not be one of those greedy persons, for it will lead to your undoing. But what you should do is say, okay, well, if that's human nature and I'm not God, I can't change human nature. I can't rewrite it. I have to deal with it. How might I benefit from this? How might I utilize this? That is what a wise man does. And I told you earlier, ask yourself the right question. Sometimes we're not asking ourselves the right question. Somebody might ask me, hey, Quet, how can I make more money at this job? I hate this job, man. This job is terrible. How do I make more money at this job? That's the wrong question. The right question is maybe, how do I find a better job that I'll enjoy more? How do I find a way to earn more income? Asking yourself the right question will keep you happy and make better use of your time.
Okay, Vilkin is back. This time he sent $50.
Baller alert.
He says, Marquette, I'm 22 years old and I was a bit wild in college, kissing every fine girl I found attractive. Mm-hmm. Been home for a whole year now, been money focused ever since. With the Dr. Phil question, how to get a girl to tell me she has herpes or other diseases.
My Lord. Sir, look, he said, with the Dr. Phil questions, how to get it. Oh my Lord. It's ironic you say that. I don't know if you maybe saw the post, but a while back, a cat had used the Dr. Phil questions and he had sent me a screenshot. It was from an app called Bumble. And he was Dr. Phil and this girl, and he was using some of the questions, basically cutting and pasting them from the document on patreon.com/the Saint in the Center. And one of the things she told him was that she had herpes, which I was really happy for him that he found that out the easy way, shall we say, rather than the hard way. And I don't know where it went from that, but hopefully that he wound that conversation down. But in essence, the whole point of the Dr. Phil process is to make the female very comfortable with you and comfortable in her own skin, and to get her into a mindset wherein she feels as though you're not judging her. And when she's in that mindset, she is willing to reveal more to you and to give more to you. The idea is that you're going where no man has gone before mentally. Many men have gone inside of her body in 2023. They might have gone inside her body at the same time, but you're trying to go into her mind. That's in essence what you're doing with the Dr. Phil process. I also have a video that also gives examples of how to engage that conversation so it doesn't sound like interrogation, as opposed to something that's casual and something that's very easy and has its rhythm.
Zenaria said, peace to the saints. A good plan today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. Thoughts, Saint. Trying to buy this rental property, which isn't perfect, but want to get started.
Zenaria, I like that you have a sense of urgency. That lets you know and that lets me know that you're serious. And that's step one in getting anything done. I will say that based on that aphorism, I always go with a good plan today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow, which is to say that yes, starting today is better than starting tomorrow in general. However, I must also add this caveat, maybe add this complexity, which is to say that timing matters a lot. Timing is critical. The house that you buy today, you might be able to buy tomorrow for $100,000 less. So, especially when we're talking about real estate, we're talking about timing. And I would very much so prefer you to get a better deal. And I can promise you, and all of the economists agree on this right now, that the real estate market will take more of a dive. So you would be better off waiting. And sometimes I know the money's burning a hole in your pocket, and sometimes you feel like you just want to get something done. But if we're talking about real estate, you got to hold off a little bit because there are going to be some better deals coming up. It's just undeniable.
Carry on.
I want to also talk to you about external motivation and internal motivation. These are really important because you have to know how to drive yourself as a human being. You might know how to drive an automobile, right? You get into it, you put the key in, you turn the key, you change the gear, you hit the gas, there's a process. We don't know the process for driving ourselves. You see, unfortunately, sometimes our intentions are a mystery to us, and how to operate our mental and emotional machinery is a mystery to us. And let me tell you the dangers in this being a mystery to you. Number one, you'd be shocked at what you can actually do. Check this out. Hold on to what I just said. I'm coming back. But you'd be shocked at what you can actually do. I always find it a bit comical and sad when someone dies and then their family's like, you know what? We need money to bury this person. Because apparently either the person died or they led an unproductive life, or their family members have not, engaged in the personal finance basics that I recommend, and probably most other folks who have been reasonably successful recommend, like saving money. So they say, hey, we need to bury Lil Ray Ray. So we're going to have a car wash and we're going to raise up some money for Lil Ray Ray. But does it make you ask yourself, well, if you think that car washes are profitable just in general, you got to make money all of a sudden, you're going to do a car wash. Well, why did you wait till Lil Ray Ray to do a car wash? Shouldn't you have been doing car washes all along this whole year, if that's how people make money? Or if you needed to make money and now you're doing something in addition to your regular work hours, like why now? Well, it's extrinsic motivation. Something has put their back against the wall and made them work harder, made them sacrifice a little bit of time, maybe sacrifice a little bit of sleep, sacrifice something to pursue more profit. And I always ask myself, what if that person, without Lil Ray Ray could have said, you know what, I need to make $5,000 extra within the next 30 days, which is probably about what it costs to bury Lil Ray Ray. What if they got that idea in their head without Lil Ray Ray and they said, I'm going to go do what it takes to make this happen with the same intensity, with the same focus and seriousness that I take to burying my loved one? Well, then they'd be successful. They'd find a way to be successful. I don't care what kind of IQ they do or don't have. They'd find a way to be successful. But the problem is that they don't have the intrinsic motivation, which is to say they don't know how to press their own buttons. They don't know how to move around and manipulate their own emotional and psychological machinery. And when you lack that ability to influence yourself, here's the trippy thing in our era. We all want to influence everybody else. Well, why don't you first try to figure out how to influence yourself, how to get yourself to wake up and get after it? That's the critical thing that I want to remind you all of. And so your number one goal is to say to yourself, Marquette, what do I have to tell you or make you experience, or what kind of stimuli can I create to make you rush, to make you urgent, to make you intense? What can I do?